What's up? David's back. I'm doing a video solo, and today I want to talk a little bit about the NBA All-Star Game and the starters, and then make some predictions about who I think should be the reserves this year. As everybody knows, the voting this year was a little controversial. You had guys getting a lot of votes, and in danger of becoming All-Star starters, even though they hadn't played a lot of games, namely your McGrady's and Iversons. One did. So, but let's run down the starters for the East. At center, Dwight Howard. He's the best. He's the best center in the East. Probably best center in the league. Yeah, he earned his starting spot. At forward, Kevin Garnett. A lot of people are debating about Kevin Garnett. He's missed a lot of games recently, but you know what? He's the best forward in the East, and the perennial All-Star. And what you can't fail to remember, which I'll get to a little bit. It's popularity contest. Garnett's the most popular guard in the East, next to at shooting guard LeBron James, the leading vote getter in the All-Star game, and deservedly so. He's head and shoulders above the rest in the league, minus anybody named Kobe Bryant. At shooting guard, Dwayne Wade, again, popular guy, great player, All-Star caliber starter. And then we get to where the All-Star game earned its popularity notion. Allen Iverson at point guard. Now, a lot of people were griping about how he's only played a set amount of games, hasn't played the whole season like everybody else. The All-Star game is a popularity contest. The fans vote for the All-Star game. They want to see Iverson, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't count for anything. It's a big, overblown exhibition, and this year it'll be like an 80,000 seat arena, overblown exhibition. And Iverson at point guard. I mean, it is what it is. Now, on the Western side, you had at centers Amari Stoudemire. Now, to me, Amari's always been a power forward, but since the West is and the league in general is so depleted of centers, and you got no Yao Ming this year. Amari does get the nod. At forward, Tim Duncan, power forward Tim Duncan, he etched out Dirk Nowitzki in the last week and a half. To get the starting spot. I'm personally happy. I love Tim Duncan. I love seeing him starting the All-Star game. He's I think he started 12 straight. I mean, to see that record go down, would have been, it would have been not a record, but see that streak go down. I'm glad it doesn't, and deservedly so. At small forward, Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo's been the best small forward in the West. And here's a stat though. Carmelo's with this selection is a 3-time All-Star. Wow. That's surprising to me. He's been an All-Star caliber player for a long time, but you know what? He gets to start again this year, and that's great. Shooting guard, and nobody's surprised. Kobe Bryant, best player in the league, amazing what he can do with even a broken finger. And then at point guard, Steve Nash. Now, popularity contest comes here again. Personally, I think Chris Paul should be the starter. Puts up better points, same amount of assists, maybe even more. Less people on his team. He doesn't have the caliber of guys that Steve Nash plays with, and he still, he has them in the playoff hunt. But Steve Nash is also a starter, great pick, popularity contest, very, very popular player. And, so overall, I think the fans get it right. I think, that's an All-Star game worthy of watching. Now, as far as predicting the bench players, I won't go into huge detail, but I will tell you who I think should definitely be at the All-Star game. On the East, I think Joe Johnson should definitely. I think an Atlanta Hawk should make it. Personally, I think 2 Atlanta Hawks should make it. I think Joe Johnson, who I think he should have been picked in front of Iverson to start. But Joe Johnson's been great this year. He's been, he's their leader, he's their captain, putting up great numbers, and has the Hawks again contention again. The guys really turned that franchise around, and this year's really shown. The other Atlanta Hawk, Josh Smith. The East depleted of big men. Josh Smith has been, Josh Smith's kind of your hybrid forward. He's like he's a small forward in name, but he's a big power forward. Great player. Athleticism and his defense has really improved, and he's become a real smarter player this year. Paul Pierce, at small forward, I think he's been he's really kept the glue in Boston together these last couple weeks, and he's perennial All-Star player. Another Celtic, Rajon Rondo. I personally like Rajon Rondo. A lot of people think he should go. Possibly, he's the second best point guard in the East, next to Devin Harris, and He should go. You know, this would have been a perfect, you know, a Gilbert Arenas segue, but you know, his whole trial pending. Um, David Lee. I think David Lee should go. I think he has great, you know, great numbers, especially considering where he is. And there's other guys, you know, you should mention in the East, but I'll tell you one guy who should not get the nod. Probably will get the nod because the league loves to have him in there. Shaq. Shaq has not put up the All-Star numbers this year. Not been the biggest factor. Though Cleveland has a great record. I think they're number one at you know, at the time this video is being filmed. It's been LeBron. Okay, it's been LeBron James and worked his ass off. That's been LeBron James. Shaq, you know, I'm sure, you know, the NBA will get him in there, you know, dance with the Jabberwockies again, or dance with Dwight Howard in practice, or do something comical or something. Shaq doesn't deserve an All-Star spot. That should go to a more deserving guy, you know. Chris Bosh, of course, you know, he's your perennial All-Star in the East too. He'll be in there as well. On the West, Chris Paul should be your All-Star, your point guard starter. He'll be on the bench. That's all right. He deserves the nod. Brandon Roy has been terrific, especially with, you know, everybody going down in Portland. He's been terrific as well. Dirk Nowitzki, he got edged out by Tim. He's still an All-Star player. He's great. I don't like Dirk personally. I think he's great though. Great player. He'll get in. Controversial. Paul Gasol. He's missed a lot of games this year, but you know, Paul. I mean, the Lakers without Paul is, you know. I mean, Kobe's terrific. They're still going down in the first round in the West without Powell. And Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups has been a great this year with Denver. He's really the leader of the team. You know, he keeps them together. Carmelo's, you know, the star. Billups is the glue. And you know, you can mention Tony Parker's or Manu Ginobili's, but the one guy who really needs to be on that Western team, Deron Williams. And Deron Williams is, I think, 5 or 6 seasons, zero goose egg selections, 0 selections to an All-Star team. That's amazing. Deron's been a great point guard for a very long time. How that guy, I was surprised when I read, like 0 All-Stars in his whole career. That is a crime. Like, that needs to be corrected this year. And he has the numbers for it. He has, you know, points and assists, and he's got his, you know, he has Utah in a good spot. Deron Williams should be an All-Star. So yeah, that's just me rambling about the All-Star game. I'll be watching it. Love the NBA All-Star Weekend. The dunk contest is a joke, but we'll get to that a little later. But for now, I'm out. Peace.